States of America. Hi, Daniel. Hi, Randall. How are you?
Hey, hi. Oh, my hair's a mess. All right. Well, bad hair day.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Daniel, nice to see you. Welcome.
Haven't needed haven't needed to be on camera for a while, so kind of gotten out of
Don't
routine
worry.
for it. But happy to be here. I'm just going to be shut up and on the side of the screen somewhere. So,
Me too.
but happy to help out if there's questions. But
Oh,
you're the show
perfect.
today.
Thank
Yep.
you. Yes, today we have a.
Hello.
Hi, Danny. How are you?
Fine, thank you. And you, Camilo?
You. Welcome. Nice to see you. Today we have a big topic about the performance, and I'm excited to see you this presentation.
Thank you, Camilo.
Yes, we can wait. I don't know, maybe 2 minutes, or we can start right now.
We can wait 2 minutes. Maybe welcome to the new attendees.
Okay, Daniel Shepard say I can see everyone, but no camera or mic.
I think
Oh,
he means he doesn't have a camera or mic. We all have cameras and mics. A few of us have these.
wow, the collection.
Just
You have
one
just
so
one.
far. Yep.
Amazing.
Daniel, how many do you have? Four.
3.
Okay.
Cool.
Uh, my wife gave me a Funko.
Oh my God, the chair is a dash.
Cool.
Right.
Wow.
My 2 cats. Susie, I don't know.
Okay,
Susie and Liar.
cool. Okay, let me see my dance. Okay. Daniel.
Hello, Daniel Shepard from New Hampshire. Hampshire? How do you say that? New
Hampshire.
Hampshire.
Yeah.
Hello, Daniel.
It looks like Hampshire, like it might be part of the Lord of the Rings thing, but no, it's just Hampshire.
Okay.
Hi, Kevin. He's a GD from Angular. GD, Angular GD from Peru.
Okay.
Cool. Hi, Kevin.
Well, we can wait 1 minute more.
Yeah, for our hump day stuff, we often wait till 5 after because it's just, people wander in. Actually, we just start talking and then we ignore everybody for about 5 or 10 minutes.
Yes.
It works.
And
It's effective.
correct. And from where else do you read us? Someone in Canada, maybe? Peru, USA, well, Toronto, Vancouver.
Vancouver is that way, about a 4 hour drive.
Where are you, Randall?
Yep. Oh, I'm Portland, Oregon.
Oregon. Okay.
Yep. Just down the street, down I 5 for a while. All the way across Washington State, just to the other side of the border.
Of course. Danny, I think so. All yours. You can start now.
Okay, I will share my screen. Only give me a second.
Okay.
Um, okay, let's go. Can you see the screen, Camilo? You can see my screen? Okay, all is right. Hello, everyone. Today we will be talk about what is performance in Flutter, how is measured, how is interpreted, and how is it improved. But first, a little about me. I am Daniel Herrera, senior front-end developer from Colombia. I love sharing my knowledge. Then 2 years ago, I created the YouTube channel Wine Code. In this channel, I share information about front-end development and about Flutter, obviously. And the last year, I created the Flutter Medellin community. There are more than 800 members today. I love writing articles on Medium and creating open source projects on GitHub. So, what is performance? In our context, performance is how well your device executes some task. And this is very important because we need to ensure our users have the best experience possible. Then, to have a good performance, we need to keep in mind some items. The first one is we need make easy to understand our metrics. We need additionally standardize our metrics and make easy to compare our metrics, test all our app, and we don't should refactor all our code before finding performance issues. Then performance has two main categories. The first one is the time categories, for example, frames per second, first frame to render. And this is the time category. And the second one is the space category, like app size, memory consumptions, and others. How can we measure the performance in our Flutter apps? Well, Flutter gives us an amazing tool, and is the profile mode. When we execute the command Flutter run in profile mode, we can see two amazing tools, the observatory tool and the Flutter developer tools. In the observatory tool, you can see, for example, the current memory consumption, peaks of memory, and in the developer tools, you can see amazing layers. For example, the performance layer, you can see the UI thread and the raster thread. Remember, in Flutter, in the UI thread, we build the layer tree. Then we only build the widgets or the blueprints. But these blueprints don't render anything in our UI. Then, when we execute the raster tree takes the output of the UI thread and then render in our screens the widgets. Then these two threads are very important in our Flutter solutions. In some scenarios, we can have slow frames, and slow frames appears when one frame weighs more than 70 milliseconds to render. In this scenario, we have a jank, and a jank is a slow frame. In the bottom section, you can see the detailed information about this jank and identify what happened and what you need to improve your performance. The another layer is the CPU profiler. As you can see in this slide, the CPU profiler uh, ne- the CPU profiler help to us to identify how much time spent our computer to finish a method. For example, if you see a method spend a lot of time, you have a issue problem in your performance. Another important thing is the memory layer. The memory layer, you can see in real time the memory consumption. And this is amazing because you can identify how screens have problems in the memory wasting. And another important layer is the network layer. In the network layer, you can see the internet consumption. And this is amazing because you can identify unnecessary consumptions on your APIs, or maybe when you consume image and you can see the headers, the response of your service, then the network layer is amazing. You have the login layer. The login layer only show us the login of our app, and the app size, you can use this layer to analyze your size of your application. And if you have a old measurement, you can compare the old measure with the new measure and identify the difference between these two versions. Let's code a little example because I know this is more clear with an example. Then I will share with you a little example. This is on GitHub. Then, in the end of the presentation, I can share with you the repository. We have three main screens in this project. We have the high perform screen. In this screen, we have a list view builder. In this list view builder render 10,000 of widgets, 10,000 widgets. And the low perform screen or low perform page have a lot of bug practice. For example, we have a column, and inside this column, we are rendering more than 10,000 widgets. And this is a bad practice because we need to use in long list the list view builder. Additionally, we have a function that returns a widget, and this is another bad practice. Then we hope the low perform page have performance issues. And the network page will show little consumption on internet. In this case, we go to the Poke API and get all the Pokemon's name. As you can see, we have a little clean architecture inside the Poke. Do you think we need more size? Okay. In the Pokemon, as you can see, we have the domain layer, models, use case, infrastructure, driven adapter, the connection with the API. Then is a little example of clean architecture inside the Pokemon folder, but that is not important for this presentation, but we are focusing in the internet consumption in this screen. Then let's go to execute the Flutter profile mode. How we can execute the Flutter profile? The first thing I share with you this my cell phone screen. As you can see, we have there my screen. Then I execute the command Flutter run in profile mode. If you have many devices connected to your computer, you need to choose the cell phone, the fixed cell phone to run this command. Well, let's wait a little to execute this task. Okay, amazing. We finished Give me a second. Installing and launching. Is launching the app. Okay. Um, we have, as you can see, two links in the end of this command. The first one is the observatory. As you can see, we have the current memory, the peak memory, and the current memory you can see in this part. If I go to Hyperfo, we don't have a lot of change our current memory. As you can see, 38 megabytes consumption, and the current memory is the 19 megabytes consumption. But if we go to a low perfo experience, as you can see, I will refresh, and obviously we have problems in our performance. Our current memory weighs more than 400 of megabytes, and the peak memory more than 500 of megabytes. This is a lot of consumption of memory. Then obviously we have a serious problem in this screen. Then let's go to see the other tools. I will go to the second link. As you can see, I will clear the log. Well, in first go to Hyperfo. As you can see, we don't have any problem. We only see the UI thread and the raster thread, but you can see any junk or slow frame because any frame weighs more 17 milliseconds to render. But if we go to low perfo experience, as you can see, we have serious problem. We have two slow frames, two jumps. But if you want to identify what is the problem, you can click inside this junk, and then the tool load this information. Maybe this is little confused, but you can see this button information. You have a summary. In this summary, it says you spend more than 400 milliseconds to render this screen. But if you go to bottom up, we have a lot of information. You can filter this info and only shows your developers your lines of code, for example. I will hide core Dart libraries, hide core Flutter libraries, and when I apply these changes, as you can see, low perfo build spends more than 200 milliseconds to render, and if I add this other 200 milliseconds, we spend more than 400 milliseconds in our development. Then the problem of this performance is not by Flutter, the problem is of us because we have bad practice in the log perfo page. But we can use the same example to see the another important layers. For example, let's go to CPU profiler. You need to record a little time, and then this will show you the final report. I will record in first the hyperfo screen and stop, and I will filter all the core libraries. As you can see, we don't have any problem with the high performance experience. But I will clear again the report. And if I try to record the low perfo experience, let's see what happened. And stop. As you can see, I have enabled the same filter, but we have again problems with our solutions. In this case, we spend more than 1000 milliseconds to finish the CPU process to build the fake element tile, and low perfo build spend more 400 milliseconds. Then it's a lot of time spent to finish our methods. Obviously, we have problems in the low perform screen, but we can identify another information using the memory layer. In this case, I will go to memory layer and I will clear our current information. As you can see, we have a little consumption of memory. If I go to high perform, we can identify a big difference instead the home page and the high perform page. I can go to the list of widgets and I don't identify some difference between the home page and the high performance page. Then this is amazing because we don't have any problem. But if I go to the low perform page, as you can see, we have a lot of consumption of memory because we have performance problems. But if you go down on this list of widgets, as you can see, we currently consume a lot of memory because Flutter retains this frame, this UI thread, the raster thread. Give me a second. As you can see, the UI thread spend a lot because the UI thread contains these 10,000 of widgets, and to render these 10,000 of widgets don't spend a lot of time. But we have serious problems because we are using a column to render all these 10,000 widgets, and this impact our UI thread. Well, with this info, we can identify we have serious problems in our low perform experience. If we return to the observatory, as you can see, we identify a peak of memory with more than 600 of megabytes of consumption of memory in the peak memory. This is a lot of consumption. Then we have a big problem. Well, to see the other tools, we need to the network experience to identify the the internet consumption. If I go to low perform, as you can see, we don't have any consumption on internet. But if I return a high perform, we don't have any consumption of internet. Then when I go to network, in this case, we have consumptions. As you can see, I can see the request UI, in this case, the Poke API, the headers for this consumption, and the response of this API. This is amazing because I can identify how many time I spent to get the information from the backend. And in some scenarios, some developers can make unnecessary requests, and you can identify these unnecessary requests in this layer. Then it's an amazing tool. As you can see, we can identify the consumption of asset image, in this case, a Pokemon picture. And as you can see, we have big dimensions inside this widget because we only need a shortly image or picture to fill this part of our app. We can filter if by a status this information. For example, I can write only choose me the 200 status or success status, or filter and erase all the success status, as you can see, or only show all the information as we can see. Okay, that is fine. In the login layer, we can see the login of our app. As you can see, it's a lot of information because this contains all the info along this test. And finally, we have the app size. How we can analyze our app size? Well, first, give me a second. As you can see, we have an image folder. Inside this image folder, I have a video.mob. I will change this name. For example, fake video. And I will change my pushback YAML. I will import this fake video. This will increase our ad size because we are using a big asset, in this case, a fake video. How we can to analyze our app size? We need to execute a new command, and this command is Flutter build the iOS or IPA or macOS, depends what you want, and analyze size flag will help to analyze our app size. I will execute this command. Give me a second. This will generate a JSON with the report of the consumption, our memory, in this case, the app size. Give me a second, it's a little slow this command. In this case, I can, give me a second, that JSON. This is the report with the analyze of our app. I will copy this report and paste this report in the test performance size with video. I will copy and change my current report. And previously, I generated a report without video. Let's see what happened when we analyze this in our Flutter developer tools. I will import both files, first one the with video JSON, and analyze them. As you can see, the app size is more than 68 megabytes, and I can see the detailed information about this size. I will clear this info and import the report without a video. And then I can analyze, as you can see, we have 54 megabytes of size and see the detailed informations about this size. But in some scenarios, we need to compare two reports to identify why our app size changed and how we can improve this size. In this case, we can use the diff tool. I will import it without video info and with video JSON. And I will analyze the diff. As you can see, the report says to us, you have a problem. You have more than 14 megabytes of increase in your app. You can filter only with the increase. And if I go to detailed information, this increasing happens in the Flutter assets. I can go inside in the image. I can say I have a fake video that, and this that's why I have an increasing of my app size. Then I can delete this video, and maybe go to the cloud with this video and use this asset. Well, this is amazing. You can filter with the decrease only. And if you have any decreasement, this will appear in this report. Well, This is an amazing tools because with this info we can identify what are our problems. In this case, when we go to the low perfo and identify the junk frame, and we know we have problems in the low perfo page build, we can go to the code and see what is our problem. We are using a long list, then maybe we can think, well, in now how we can improve our code if we identify we have performance issues. Well, the Flutter team give us an amazing website. In this website, we can identify the performance best practice. You need to think how you are doing to identify how you can improve. In this case, I will share the list. As you can see, Flutter have a good advices about implement grids and lists thoughtfully. And in this link, working with long lists, you can render your elements with a list view builder. And if we change this implementation for this, we improve our performance as you can see in the Flutter developer tools. Then you always need to identify in in how part you have your issues, your performance issues, and then search into the official page and find the best practices to implement performance. Additionally, we can use the Firebase performance tool, and this is amazing because you can monitoring your performance in your app. And in this case, you can install this solution in your Flutter applications. And this will be amazing because you can measure your performance before go to production using the Flutter debug tools or the Darbian Observatory. And another amazing tool you can use is the performance monitoring with Firebase. Then the most important thing is we need to measure to measure our performance to ensure the best experience for our clients. And that's right. If you follow in these advices and use in the correct way this amazing layer, you will identify before going to production your performance problems and fix them. Well, I finished my little presentation. I don't know if we have another questions. Cami, you need to turn on your microphone.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Danny. This topic is the base for all of who use Flutter. So it's important, useful, using the profile mode. In projects I have participated, it has helped to identify and improve the performance of the app. I remember we increased the frames per second on a list loader because it looked too slow. It felt frozen, the app and the experience. We increased from 35 to 48 per second on average and more fluently. Amazing this tool. And yes, if anyone have questions, we are happy to answer. Esteban Toledo. Oh
Hi.
my God. Hi, my friend.
Oh, this is a good question. How could I use this in a pipeline? Okay, we have the Flutter driver tool. In maybe if you follow me in Medium, I am writing an article about that. And we can make a little test in our Flutter driver test, and this test can measure our memory consumption, our frames per second, and then you can break some pipelines if you see any issue in your performance.
That topic is also very important. Everything about Flutter driver.
Okay.
Juan Gonzalo. Other question.
Oh, it's a weird problem.
Well, in Android or iOS, depends.
Depends. What
Yes.
what are you using? What are you using? iOS, Android,
In which platform, Juan? iOS.
iOS. Hmm. I don't think it should be due to performance issues. Maybe you can use this performance tool to measure if you have any problem about that,
Mhm.
because the performance tool can show you if you have a lot of consumption of memory, and maybe if you have problem starting your application in this part, then you can see where is the problem. But if the problem is not performance, you can try testing in another computer. Maybe you have problems in your local variables, or in your either with the and with Flutter. But maybe if you have performance issues, you can see with this the report of the performance and identify if you have any problem about that. Maybe in the developer tools, you can test the starting of the application, and this is amazing because you can profile the app startup. I will share a little, give me a second. I will share my screen again. As you can see in the CPU profiler, you can profile the app startup and another amazing things. Then it will help if you have problems in your performance. And if you have assets with the locations and some calls to the backend in the starts of the application, make sure of control your errors, right? Because if you have any broken of your app, maybe it's because you don't control some error in the start of your application.
Okay. Danny, I have a question. We can make profile to the app in background mode.
You okay? What? You can?
Can make profile or run the mode profile to the app in background mode with the app is in background
With the
in
app is
second plan. Yes. Is possible?
You can, I think. Let's try.
Oh my God. Okay.
This is the app. On
Is this
background.
is the same? Okay.
It's the same. I will. Ah, no. As you can see,
Okay.
they lost the connection. Ah, give me a second. The memory consumption appears. I will go to again to the app. Ah, okay. Mm. They show you a little consumption, but it's not what do you want.
Okay. Okay. Yes, I thinking in the app from Juan with the maps related. Maybe if have a background mode with the maps. But okay.
Okay, no,
Thank you.
you can.
And anyone maybe have questions? Uh, I think that's all for today. Other questions. Taking about performance.
Taking.
Mm,
Providing the also the file and the providers.
Randall.
I got I could handle this one because I do a lot with Provider and RiverPod. It's really important to, if you have expensive ways to rebuild, that they be as compartmentalized down as you can, so that the trigger for rebuilding is rebuilding as little as possible. Don't get crazy about that, because there's a lot of optimizations that are going on in the framework already too. I mean, like if this blue square moves down over here, chances are that's not being repainted. That's just being moved in the widget tree. So there's a lot of things you don't have to do because the framework is very careful about that. But yeah, you shouldn't have to do expensive things more often than you should. One thing also that I keep seeing out in the field out here is a lot of people are putting way too much work into just build methods in general. A build should have precisely one job, which is to take the current model data and print it. And that's it. It shouldn't be doing I/O. It shouldn't be doing heavy calculations. It should just be translating the model data into something that is on the screen for the user to interact with. And that's it. So when people start putting, stream builders, feature builders and stuff in there, it starts getting me a little concerned. I mean, obviously we need them for some things, but I've seen people with like triply nested feature builders, and I go, okay, you need to have your model set up over here before you even fire up this view. It's getting a little crazy. So I think I beat that answer to death. But you can always scope down to a smaller consumer with both RiverPod and Provider. You can scope down to a smaller consumer so that fewer widgets get rebuilt. And you should consider that if you're seeing performance problems.
That's why we need to be careful with the build method. It's very expensive.
Yep. And I think you can see that in the profiler by looking at the time spent doing the build part as opposed to the time spent doing the other things. If your builds are consistently taking up most of your 60th of a second slot, you've got problems. Any other questions about performance so that these guys can answer it? Or if we have any general questions about Flutter, I kind of know a thing or two about Flutter. Do you have the crickets sound effect in there somewhere?
Yes, there seems to be no more.
It's like a stream of Canada. Yes, right? It's the first live stream.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing.
So, thanks, Randall, Danny, for participating and sharing to the Flutter community. Thank you very much. And again, if you want to participate and take maybe in the future, Danny, the topic with Flutter driver is the other very interesting. How to apply testing. If you are interested. I think so. Thank you, Daniel. Super. Okay.
Thank
See
you.
you. Okay. See you in the next time. Thank you, Randall.
Thank you, Camilo. Thank you, Randall.
Bye bye.
Bye, guys. See you later.